Roll that clip.
Yeah. All right. All right. This is a big one, you guys. Like, this is kind of a cool, serendipitous episode too, because I believe our first interview was Mr. Steve Urena, and our last interview as the Pink Buzz is going to be with Mr. Steve Urena. And
All right.
go ahead and introduce
That's a lot
yourself,
of
man.
shoes to fill. Thank you. I'm Steve Urena. Thank you for having me on the show again. This is another time with you guys, and I'm excited to talk comics and see how you guys are doing. And I'm glad I'm here for the last episode. Let's fuck shit up.
Yeah. Well, I'm at home, so I'm not gonna fuck shit up. It'll cost me. If I was somewhere else, then yeah, let's do it.
A glass over my head, like.
Wife's gonna like come. The fuck's going on in there?
There's no fucking stuff in here. Not here.
So, Steve, how's it been going? The last time we had you on was for Ex Machina, man.
Yes.
You actually did one other campaign in between for Slowpokes 2.
That's right.
Which you did. I think that was what last fall, maybe,
year.
Or a little.
Last year.
And it came out in the spring, I think. Or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but
so I ran the campaign last year. We had a hot sloth summer, which was great, and then October, a lot of the shipments went out, but some of them were delayed because of I had koozies, and it took a little while for those to get made, so it kind of finished up in the spring. But I did the majority of it over the fall of last year.
Shout out to Cookie, who's in the chat. Oh, shout out to Manny as well, who's in the chats. How's it going? He's going to have a Kickstarter launching soon as well for his
hello
issue 5 or 6 of El Crudo. 6,
big number 6, yeah,
number 6. So Manny's doing it as well on the Kickstarter scene.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So man, we're here with Steve. We're going to be talking about motherfucking
foul mouth.
Put up your ass, foul mouth. Yeah. So I dig it, man. I love the title. I was curious, how many different scenarios of titles did you go through before you settled on this one?
So there was one. I knew what the title would be, but then there was another title that was very close to it, so I decided to move away. So originally, I was going to have it be called Super Fuck or Super, F with the Grolixes and the asterisks. Yeah. And I was originally going to do that because the main character's name, her name is Faye Flick, so it was going to look like Super Fuck, but it would be Super Flick. But then because I saw there's another comic called Super Fuckers, I was like, that's too close. Foul mouth, I think, works. I think that's funnier because I can do these interviews in the Google thing. Nobody has to type in super fuck. They can just type in foul mouth. It's clean, but it's dirty at the same time. So I think it all works.
So I was thinking you could do it. Could have gone with potty.
Yeah, potty mouth.
Potty mouth, cursed, because you have that like the ghosts that come out of the book. Cursed. It could have been like cursing. Could have been cursed something. Yeah.
I also thought Grolix would have been a cool name, just because you don't hear that often, and that's what it means when you're doing the curse words in the comics.
Yeah.
I think foul mouth works, and just because it has a big FU in it, so I thought that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I dug it when I heard it. I was like, yeah, like in the description, you were like talking about trying your hand at something a little different, right? Like, well, you did try a little bit different with the Ex Machina.
Yes.
Ex Machina. You know,
at least that was still horror. You know what I mean? Somewhat within the horror genre. But it's funny. I want to do something different. I always loved superheroes growing up, and I took a comic class. And I took a comic class with somebody. I'm not going to name names because I'm not trying to start any shit. But I asked them advice. I said, hey, what I do horror comics. They're doing pretty well. What advice would you have for somebody who wants to switch genres? And they told me, stay in your lane. So that I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna stay in my lane. I'm going to do what I want to do and figure it out. And here we are with Foulmouth. I don't think they meant to be mean. I think they just meant like, hey, if you're doing well, keep the momentum going. But I just really wanted to try something different, and I want to be known for being unpredictable and be fun, not just be pigeonholed in the same genre or the same type of stories. So I always want to try something different with my Kickstarters and comics.
So how is it jumping into the superhero genre? Are you having fun with it? Is it kind of...
Yeah, I love it. It is definitely this campaign, I will say, is a little bit harder than the other ones. I feel like horror is an easier sell, especially if you have really great art and really wild concepts. Like, people will just be there for the art, not so much the writing, which, props to all the people I've gotten to work with who are very talented. But yeah, superheroes, I feel like maybe there's just a little bit of superhero fatigue at the moment. There's just a lot of them. And it's tough when my people are usually in the horror genre, and this is different. So I feel like to get those backers and get those readers is a little bit tougher, and I have to just kind of do more of these interviews, talk to more people, and just try to get the word out there. But I'm also in an age where social media is absolutely fucked right now. So it is it's just a weird time for comics. But hey, just having fun with it. I'm not afraid to fail. If it doesn't make its funding, we'll figure something out. But I love it so far, and I love doing these podcasts. I love talking with you guys.
By the way, if anybody watching that hasn't backed Foulmouth yet, the link is in the description. Actually, I'll get it and post it in the chat as well.
Yeah, thank you to all who is back so far. We just hit 100 backers today, which is really, really cool, especially for a new concept. Like, I really appreciate everybody giving me a chance. People that have come back from before, people that I'm friends with, new people. We're doing it little by little, and I still have hope that we'll be able to make our funding by September 22nd, which is when it ends.
So for people that are...
That's a good thing you do. That's a smart thing too, that you go for the 2-month campaigns. I've always appreciated that about your books. You like the long haul.
I just want to have the time to do these things. And also, comics for me is a vacation from my real life. You know what I mean? Like, I get to hang out and talk comics and talk about art and stories. And I want to have that for as long as I can. So I'm going to take, if they give me 60 days, to give me 80 days, whatever, I'm going to take it and try to utilize it as much as possible.
Yeah, because I do think that the short campaigns could be fun and like a more risky, kind of a gambly type thing. But like, sometimes I just don't have the coin to back it at the time. Yeah. And it's something that I'm really into, and it just...
Well, and that too, like, I feel like things are just tough in people's lives. Like, there's a lot of people losing their jobs, and with AI and everything, and just in general, just the job market is terrible. So even if you can't back for whatever reason, then that's fine. As long as you help spread the word, I'm cool with that. Like, just thank you for supporting and spreading the word. I appreciate that. Whatever I could do to get the word out, I'm good.
But we're gonna want you to back. So, like, go ahead and give us that elevator pitch, Steve, for Foulmouth.
Yeah,
sure. So Foulmouth is if you like demons, if you like superheroes, this is a demon possessed superhero who gets her powers from cursing. Her powers come from the demon, and whenever she curses, the more creative it is, the more it animates. Think of Green Lantern meets Venom. So if somebody's calling somebody a shit sandwich, the shit sandwich will appear and help her fight the villains.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you get a little preview of that where she's swearing at a kid and then he gets slapped in the face.
Yes.
See, this panel, this is where she meets the demon for the first time. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
See, one of the demons flies past and the other one hits her smack dab right in the middle of the face. And then you see she gets that weird googly face with the big tongue.
That's right.
So this book is still going to be kind of horror adjacent. Like you said, there's a demon, and there's probably going to be some gore as well. So that's why I like superhero books, because you can put a lot of horror and gore into them. You know what I mean?
So there isn't any gore in this. This is pretty. There's no blood or anything like that. It's pretty clean cut. I want to make sure it looked like kind of like the adventures of Superman or like the Spider-Man cartoon from back in the day. So a little bit more zanier. But you know what? If people want blood, I'll give them blood.
See, well, we don't have Sarah Davidson here, but she's the artist for this book. And I had a question that maybe you could answer that sure. I want to ask her is, Johnny, could you put the picture up? I want to know if the demon was based on you. I want to know, did she base the demon off of you, or is because I see quite the resemblance there. I mean,
So that it is very much art. I mean, life imitating art, because that happened. That me eating that pizza at the pizza festival a few weeks ago. Yeah, I mean that is me, but I feel like it's more. My girlfriend's a big pizza person, and I feel like the comic is loosely based on her. But I do love a good pizza, and that is a good picture. But yeah, that's more life imitating Sarah Davidson's great art than the other way around.
Because I saw the cover and I saw that picture and I was like, damn, that's almost the exact same pose and everything. Yeah, it's spot on.
In the future, that's what I think happened, because that art was done before that, which makes that's really funny.
So did I understand that right when you said this is loosely based on your girlfriend?
Yes. So the idea came from a walk, but I definitely I was taking a walk, and I was like, what could I do in comics that isn't done normally? So I was like, well, cursing. And I was like, well, what could I do with cursing? And then I was like, oh, maybe a superhero gets her powers from cursing, and then the curses, animate. You could literally do real F-bombs. I mean, you could do whatever. I feel like there's more fun to be had. But my girlfriend, who's a preschool teacher, at preschool teacher, she's very nice and she's very sweet. But then when she comes home, she's very much curses like a sailor. So I was like, you know what? I think I loosely based like what it looks like on her, but I didn't give them a picture or anything. I just was like, oh, maybe this and this, and it looked very similar to her. So I'm like, you know what? It comes out of my heart. It comes out of somebody I love very much. So it must be something right.
I dig the design too. You got the luchador mask and just like the cape tied on, like very like bare bones, homemade kind of. I dig that. So it's like new superhero, like she's just learning.
Exactly.
Doesn't have some rich backer backing her up to give her like this fancy suit or anything,
Yeah, and also
yellow rubber dish gloves too. I love that.
Yes. I had to do that. I just thought it was. It looks like I feel like that's more relatable, because like if you had a polished costume and refined things, like I don't think we're there yet. I think if Foulmouth can get there, fine, that'd be cool. But I think this is a good way to introduce her to everybody.
Cool. So based off your girlfriend, so are there any scenes in there that were like kind of almost like stuff you've taken straight from your life and kind of like, I got to put this in this book? Are there any like kind of things that you took out and your girlfriend's like, I don't know, that's getting a little too close to home? Or
luckily she's been fine. It's more creative license. I mean, we have our cat in it, which is great. Like it's okay. She's a big fan of karaoke, so I put some karaoke stuff in there.
Okay.
But mainly stuff that's fine. The cursing was more like, I'm like gonna have fun with this. So like, she calls somebody like a bitch made light bulb, and then the light bulb appears and she smacks somebody in the head with it. So just trying to make the curses more fun, and also less is more. Like I don't want this to just be cursing for the sake of cursing, because that doesn't work. So I feel like it's more, and the character is quiet, and then this kind of brings her out of her shell. So I think it makes sense when she's quiet, she's trying to talk to people, and people are talking over her, people are trying to correcting her, people are mansplaining her, and this is her way to just get it out there and tell them to fuck off.
Like that pot was just about like simmering, boiling, ready to boil over. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So then this event happens, and that's the catalyst.
Yes,
and
exactly.
It's like all hell breaks loose.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So in the other picture, we saw the two demons, the bluish one, and then there's a red one.
Yes.
So that's going to be like your standoff is the two demons, one against the other.
Yes.
I'm assuming you're going to have like your antagonists.
Yes.
So okay.
That's right. So so one possesses Foulmouth, and the other possesses a local superhero in the town, and he becomes evil from that. So I brought back for people who bought the first Slowpokes. There was a 5-page story in there that had a villain and a hero, and in it the hero finally gets vaporized by the villain, and the villain misses him and brings him back. So I thought it would be a great way to bring them back into this universe and say, hey, what if instead of the hero, he's the villain in this? So it all kind of connects together, and that's one of the extras I'm having in my Kickstarter. For those who missed that campaign, for $1 extra, you'll get that 5-page story.
Nice.
Very cool. Very
And
cool. So
if
you're
you
creating
missed
a little universe for yourself here.
Well, I just thought with superheroes, I was like, well, I did kind of something before. I think it would make sense if it all kind of came together. And also when you have like a Superman type character in your town and they're trying to be funny with like puns and things like that, like he has electric powers. So like he's trying to be funny, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's mansplaining. Sometimes it's like this fucking guy again. So I thought that would be the perfect antagonist for Foulmouth.
Cool. Johnny, I cut you off. Sorry about that. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to ask. So this is going to be a pretty good self-contained story in this first issue?
Yes. This is a self-contained first issue. Hopefully, if it makes backing, I'll get to do more or try to find other places where that character would fit in. But I love the Foulmouth character and would love to continue going with it. But it just depends on Kickstarter and people's reactions to it.
I follow you on socials, and I know you stretched your birthday out over a week when it was your birthday, and I noticed you went to a lot of comedy clubs.
Yes.
So was that like kind of research for the book to give you ideas, or?
I love comedy. I love language, and I love talking about people telling stories and things like that. So luckily I live in Connecticut, and I'm right in the middle of like all the good comedy clubs. So there's a comedy club in Stamford, there's a comedy club in Bridgeport, which we like to go to. I just saw Hannibal Buress recently, and he was very funny. We saw Ronnie Chang, who's on the Daily Show. We saw who else we've seen Michelle Wolf. We've seen just different comedians we saw Burt Kreischer and those guys do stuff at Forest Hill Stadium. So for me, I just love storytelling. I love hearing people laugh, and it's a nice getaway from the normal. Every time we put on the news, it's this awful stuff happening like COVID and just crimes and people getting upset with each other. So it's good to have a laugh and just let it out.
Cool. Yeah, I saw that, so I was like, oh, maybe. So I just noticed things every now and then. I was like, then when I saw the comic, then I was like, oh yeah, you went to So I didn't know if that was kind of related to the book or not.
I mean, it is funny because people are having a harder time with language, like in terms of comedy shows and things like that. Like Jerry Seinfeld said he went to a college and people booed him because they were like, oh, you went too far. And he's like, I'm one of the cleanest comedians of all time. Like, I don't understand this. So I feel like people are getting offended by things a lot easier. So I thought, what better way to make waves by having a cursing superhero? Because I think that's funny, and I hope people think it's funny too, or I'll be blackballed. Either or, whatever.
Well, you've reached what? You're about 50% on your Kickstarter right now.
Yep, a little
just a little over
50%, which is great.
Yeah.
It's tough. This one is definitely tougher. I feel like just people there's a lot of great projects out there, which is really, really cool to see. But I also feel like a lot of projects that are getting funded are a lot more horror stuff, a lot more serious stuff, a lot more, I was laughing because Neil Gaiman is running a Kickstarter, and it's like the most successful Kickstarter in the history of Kickstarters. And then the Red Power Ranger, and I'm like, I'm in the middle. I'm in the two of my favorite things. I'm right in the middle there.
Yeah, see that's a double-edged sword, right? Because people say it brings more eyes to Kickstarter, which
it does,
which is true. But it'd be nice if Kickstarter kind of sent everyone like just a heads up. Neil Gaiman will be running a campaign during these dates, so that you don't like try to put your campaign at the same time to come. It's not really fair competition, right? So.
Well, I was joking because I've gotten the Project We Love thing on Kickstarter a few times, which is awesome. But but this time around, I I feel like, I'm like, man, there's a lot of great stuff out there that I completely get it. But I would love to have the badge where it says Kickstarter we don't love. I think that would just be I would take that as a badge of honor. It's like, yeah, we don't know about this project, but good luck to you.
Projects we kind of want to ban, but
it would probably help actually. It would probably get funded in like a minute after they gave that badge. People are like, what is this? I got to know what this is about.
Like it's like there's like a big red cross, like project we do not love. Like maybe I don't know if anybody should back this.
Yeah. I mean, it's a change, but I mean, all your books have had like a very humorous angle to it, like the slow pokes. I mean, you definitely embrace like that B camp kind of horror movie type stuff. And I think this kind of lends itself. You're not like doing a complete 180, it's kind of like a fork in the road, right? It's not really,
it's still, it's fun. I'm trying to have as much fun with this as possible, which I love about my other comics, but it's just, I don't want to be the same thing over and over again. I want people to be shocked and surprised, like, oh, that's a cool concept, or maybe that's not something I would read, but I'll check it out because I like the other ones. So,
and you're still running slow pokes. I mean, you've done two.
The way the other ones,
the other one finished. There's obviously going to be a third one. I mean, the way it ends. So, I mean, you're still doing those books, so people are still going to get those. So, I mean, and if people are familiar with that, then I'm sure they're fully confident with this Foulmouth book will be quite fun read.
Yes, hopefully people think so. But it has definitely been, I think, just a little tougher to get people to jump from the horror stuff to the superhero stuff. So we'll see what happens. But listen, we still got time. Well, I'm still excited, and it's fucking great.
You got 28 days left, right? I think I saw today when I was.
Yeah. I mean, another thing that sells really well on Kickstarter are titty books, man.
I know. Yeah, that's
the thing. Those goddamn titty books.
That's the thing I was laughing about too, because it just wasn't like the titles are not even like the titles are just very straightforward. It's just like boobs. It's like, well, how the fuck can I compete with that? Like, god damn, like I can't compete with that. Just boobs. Damn.
Double D's of doom.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. But I mean, more power to them, I guess. But it's just funny that the things that are on Kickstarter, it's like, oh man, this is a really personal project, and then boobs number 6, whatever that is. But hey, all the people. There's a lot of great projects on Kickstarter. I saw Free Hands, which is the pirate book, just got funded, which is cool. I saw another one called Home Free, which looks really fun. There's just a lot of good stuff out there, and it's good to see that people are still creating and still having fun.
Free Hands, that's our boy Matt Rowe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the Matt Welding, the two Matts.
Which is funny because I would put those together with like Free Hands and then boobs right after that. Like,
yes.
Just based on the wordplay, like why not? Like,
well, they could do a backstory,
There you go. That's the prequel. Yes.
Yeah.
There were Free Hands and then there were boobs. So like But, yeah.
So in this book, Foulmouth, so obviously, like you said, her powers evolve around her cursing, swearing, whatever.
Yes.
What was the term you used for when you write it out with the...
Grawlix, Grawlix, I believe that's
so right. The Grawlix, is everything going to be done in Grawlix, or are you actually going to write out some of the swears in it?
Yeah, swears full blown. Because I mean... I thought about that too. I was like, maybe the thing, but I'm like, you know what? I'm an indie book. It doesn't matter. Like, there's no, what you're getting. Like, you're not. There's no hiding. Hiding the curses or anything like that. Kids, I don't think are gonna read. Maybe they will. I don't know. But like, it's language. It's fun. It's free. Like, it's more. It has more attitude to it. Like when people talk, you add a curse word to it, people will listen more. So
kids will probably read it more with the actual cuss words.
Yes.
So.
Because unlike censored music, when people are talking in real life, you don't get the burn the mother down. You can't censor people live like that. It just comes out. Like fuck. When you say fuck, it comes out fuck.
Exactly. And I just feel like in comics, like why even what it is. Like it's not. There's no. You understand what they're saying. So I don't understand why they can't
Oh,
Yeah,
No.
exactly. Yeah.
and I'm hoping this book could be like a nice, master class in teaching people the art of cursing, because you can be really clever with it. You can be
Exactly.
creative, and I'm hoping, like the way you're describing the way the action plays out in this, that like we might get some clever smartasses back again instead of just people bluntly cussing all the time.
Yeah, it just not for kids. But yeah, just I think language should be free. I mean, obviously not hateful and things like that. Like that I think is bullshit. But like it's just a word. Like you give power to your words. Like if you hear something like a curse word and fuck and you're offended by it, then you're giving power to that word.
Exactly.
If you don't
Yeah.
give power to the word, then it's fine. It's a way of expressing yourself, which I think that's another thing that I try to express hopefully in this comic.
And like people as well, like just in general in life, like people that oh this and that, and they're like you can't. Well, if you engage something that you don't believe in, well, you're helping to give that thing a platform.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
you've brought it to the forefront instead of not acknowledging it and shoving it to the background.
Yeah.
Well, by acknowledging it and bringing it and making it a big deal, you just gave that thing a platform that you're trying to fight.
You're giving the words power.
It's counterproductive to what you're trying to do sometimes, and I find sometimes people just don't realize that.
Yeah, and I get that too, because like everybody's grown up different. I mean, how about you guys? Like, when did you first start cursing? Was cursing allowed in the house? When did you first start hearing cursing?
Allowed in the house, but I probably started at 3.
Started nice and early.
Or at least when school started, you know what I mean? Like when I was in kindergarten, we learned it all. I saw my first naked girl picture, like probably in like 3rd or 4th grade, you know what I mean? Like, and I just felt that it was a very natural way to learn things, kind of with other kids. But I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 81, so like I'm totally old school. Like I know that helicopter parents would not let their kids grow up the way I was nowadays.
Yeah. Let's see, pretty young. I couldn't tell you. Like, I don't even remember. So that's how young I was. But I grew up in a family that loved to play cards.
Okay. Oh, so
yeah, there's a lot of swearing when they're playing cards. Like hearing my mother call my grandmother a cunt was not uncommon, or bitch, or fucking cunt. Like it came out. So those things, like the first time my mom called my wife a whore, you fucking whore. Her face was just like, I mean, when playing cards, it's like no holds barred in my family. When you play cards, it comes out.
That's funny too, because like cursing comes out, I think, when you're having fun, right? Like cursing comes out when you're comfortable with people. Like you wouldn't do this around strangers, right? Maybe people, I mean, unless it's like heated, like I guess like poker or something like that, maybe. But like, it just like, think of like the games that you hated as a kid, like Monopoly. Like you fucks are given at Monopoly. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like it's just all these things. Like I just feel like I want to make sure people are comfortable with language again. Like whether you're cursing, you can do it in a smart way, and as long as it's not hateful and you're not like doing something terrible like that. But like a fuck every now and then is not going to hurt you. A shit every now and then is not going to hurt you. It's that's what it's used for. It's used for fun.
Well, I should put it in better context, because we play a game that's called Joker Rummy. I don't know if you've ever played it, Joker Rummy, and there's like a wizard card, and that's like the ultimate card that beats everything. And my mom was, and you have to bet how many tricks you're going to do, and if you don't get it, you go in the minus. And my wife played a wizard, and I guess she'd gotten a lot while we were playing, so my mom called her the wizard whore. So that's how that came out.
The wizard, I think you guys got a good shirt there too, the wizard whore. I think that's
for Joker Rummy. Yeah, they should put that on their site, the wizard whore.
The wizard whore. That's awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah, so like just little things like that, especially like, how it is. You're playing cards and just getting your ass handed to you game after game, and after a while you're like, fuck this shit, man. Like, fuck, it almost becomes a personal attack on you after a while,
And I also think with kids too, like when you hear curse, you're like, wait, that's a bad word. Like it's like smoking. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh shit, like, it's cool. Like, now I'm gonna do it. And like I remember, like I think a coworker of mine, they were saying like their kids found out about like curse words and things like that, and they said that they would go into the corner and they'd like go like this and go, shit, like, stuff like that. So like it's fun, and I just love swearing and swear words, and coming up from my parents were very proper about their language, so cursing was never really said in the house. So that wasn't really part of my vocabulary until later, until I went to like school and things like that, and then you learn from there. But I feel like my parents, once we grew up, when we stopped being high schoolers who went to college, that's when they started cursing more, and I was like, where was this our whole
coming from?
Yeah.
What the first time your parents caught you swearing, what was like? Did you get punished? What was the reaction? What happened?
So like I said, I never really swore as a kid, but the one thing that I remember was, all right, so two things. One, I remember I was like in first grade, somebody was like, hey Steve, do this. And I didn't know what it was. So I was just like, okay, I did this. And the teacher saw me, and the teacher was like, Steven, what are you doing? Like, what, and I was like, what? It's just a finger. Like, it's not, like, what's the problem? And that's what I learned. Of like, there's power in this. Like, I don't, like, this is not good, but this, that's troublemaker. And then when wrestling was big, when I was in grade school, I told somebody to suck it, and I got in big trouble for that. Because like that's what everybody did. But just with the curse words, like I never really used them until later on. And then whenever you're in pain or something like that, you just go fuck, like, and it just feels right.
yeah. So when you're young, you're like the little kid from Lock and Key, like aloha.
Yeah.
No.
Now I do this all the time. Like somebody asked me for a PDF at work, and I was like, I got 2 PDFs for you. Like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, right here. Or you do the phone where you're just like, just like, oh, excuse me, like hello, and then it's the middle finger.
Yeah. Yeah. No, swearing was pretty common. Like we were pretty much allowed to watch any movies. Like, so as a kid, like Johnny, like I was introduced to it pretty young. So yeah. But I think that's like one of the first taboos as a kid.
Yeah.
Right, that's one of the first taboos kids get to learn and to kind of get away with, and like
that's
that naughty little thing. That's like the first naughty little thing kids get to do and try to get away with. Yeah. Normally, I mean. Yeah.
Were you guys troublemakers growing up or no?
Yeah.
No, I was a pretty boring kid, actually, man. Like for the most part, my mom. My mom always like you had what is it called, the sandals there, like in
the chocolate.
The chocolates. Well, my mom had the wooden spoon. Yeah, my mom was the wooden spoon, so she only had to use it once, and after that wooden spoon held a lot of power. After just the one time, so
that's all you need.
Yeah.
That one whooping. That'll you remember for the rest of your life.
Remember, yeah. So that's it. Don't make me get the wooden spoon. Then like things calm down pretty quick.
I was a pretty calm little kid until I got to school, and then when I got around other kids, like I got wild.
That's right. That's how you got to do it. You're blowing fire in the class, stuff like that. I was pretty much a goody two shoes or a good kid until like college, when like I left my parents' house, and then I was like, I'm gonna have as much fun as humanly possible. But I remember in high school, I would hang out with kids that were just delinquents. Like I loved these kids, but they just would steal. They would start fights, like things like that. And I got my iPod stolen in school, and so I asked them. I was like, "Hey, did anybody steal a blue iPod today?" Somebody goes, "Oh, I got a red one." I was like, "No, that's not mine."
Yeah. No, see, like I did some stuff, but because my mom was she was pretty not strict, but when it came out to doling out punishments, she didn't hold back. So I just made sure that when I did bad things, I did them far away from the house, away from my parents. So I did do bad things, but I was pretty sneaky about it. So
I had the record when I used to work in radio. I had the record for knowing the most people that were in the police blotter, like in my
Okay.
high school. And I was like, oh,
Okay.
I know that guy. Oh, that guy went to school with them. Oh, he came. I used to hang out with him. Like stuff like that. Like, you know, somebody throwing M80 at a cop. Like I may try to do a story about my growing up in my small town, because it was just a lot of like there was nothing to do, so people would just do stupid
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Halloween was always fun. Yeah. What was the population of your small town?
Let me actually look it up. Let's see. I come from Mount Olive, New Jersey.
Okay.
Let's see, population. So as of 2018, 29,051.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think it's grown since then, but like my high school was the same kids from middle school, and just, you know, just every just I tell my girlfriend, or I tell people that I'm friends with, like things that happened in the town, and they're like, that didn't happen, like that's bullshit, that's crazy. Like there was a guy who tried to steal a car, and it was a stick shift, and he didn't know how to do stick shift, so he tried to put it back, and then he got arrested from that. Like stuff like that. Somebody threw an M80 at a cop for 4th of July. Like
Okay.
that was a thing. Somebody tried to rob a convenience store with an axe. So
Okay.
just things like that. Oh, broom handle mom had bow staff skill. That's pretty awesome.
See, my town was way too small. Like, the town next to us was about, when I was a kid, there was just under 1,000, or maybe between 600 to 1,000 in the small town I grew up with. The town right next to us was maybe close to 3,000.
Oh wow.
So, like, if we did anything stupid like that, right away the cops would be like, even if you're wearing a mask, as soon as you'd say something, they'd be like, "Hey, Joe, what the fuck are you doing?" Like, they'd recognize your voice right away, right? Like, you couldn't get away with anything. Everyone knew everyone, right? So
Yeah.
you couldn't do any super crazy shit because you get caught right away, you know? Yeah.
In my town, there was a prostitution ring that got busted because it was at Dunkin' Donuts. And like you had to go to Dunkin' Donuts, ask for, I guess the code word was extra sugar, and then they'd send out a prostitute. And a police officer went there, just hey, can I get some extra sugar in my thing? And they got caught that way. He's like,
Oh
what
my
are
God,
you guys doing? Yeah.
dumb luck.
You
Yeah,
got a comic right there, man. Like that.
Ugh.
My other two friends, somebody pissed them off, so they decided, it was a friend of theirs. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna just vandalize their car," you know, like shaving cream, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they shaving cream, they spray painted stuff on it, whatever. So the next day, the person goes, "Oh, did you see what happened to my car?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." And she's like, "Yeah, they caught the people that did it." And they're like, "What?" Apparently, literally like maybe a street or two over, somebody was vandalizing cars, and they just grouped it in with that.
Yeah. Oh well, might as well, man. We'll slap a year or two back on the charges. Yeah. But some people are just dumb though. Like,
Absolutely.
recently there's like two kids that were bored, and they're just going around starting to light old barns, like abandoned barns, on fire.
Yeah.
And what happened is, I think they lit three, and one of them they went back because they didn't realize it was an old barn that got transformed into a house.
Oh, fuck.
But it was people that were only there on weekends or something, but they didn't realize it. So what they did is they drove back. But by that time, the fire department and the cops were there, and these two kids are there, and they smell of gasoline and everything. And that's how they got fucking caught. Yeah, exactly. That's how those two kids got caught. So, I mean, man, you got away with it. Just go home, shower, you know, like, they drove like the same night. And I don't know. I was like,
I actually think that would be a good podcast too, just like criminal mischief, just like the stupid shit you'd hear people do in high school, or
yeah.
like a friend of mine was telling me that he was a camp counselor, and these kids almost burned down the woods because they took tea bags and they were like smoking them and trying to, like, you know, get high off it, but it was clearly just tea. Somebody, you know, there's kids, they're stupid, so they're just like, "Oh, these tea bags are, you know, if you smoke this, you'll get high," and it's just tea bags.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're a kid, eh? Yeah.
And then another one, again in my hometown. So there was always this go-go bar in the town, so everybody was like, "Oh, that's Smiles too. That's the go-go bar." You know, everybody would drive past it, and you know, I was a kid, so I would be like, "Oh, like who's going in there? Like, what the hell is happening in there?" So for years, I'm like, "How does this place make money? This place is always here," but I'm like, "All right, this strip club, maybe people or whatever, that's fine." Years later, I saw in the paper, it's like this place got shut down, and I was like, "Why did it get shut down?" They were running an illegal credit card scam out of the go-go club. Like the go-go club was the front, and they would get people's credit card information and sell it online. They made like millions and millions of dollars, and they shut it down. And I was like, I need to write the rights to this story. Like the fact that this was in my little small town, it's crazy. Just like people just get up to schemes like Trailer Park Boys. Whenever I watch it, that makes me think of home, because I'm like, people are, you know, there's another girl a grade below me. She went to the Walmart and she was shoplifting, but she had a brick of heroin in her purse. And my dad's like, "You have a brick of heroin, like go sell the heroin." Like, go sell the heroin. What are you doing? You know what I mean? What are you doing shoplifting at Walmart?
With
That's
with
so
that
stupid.
on your persons. Yeah, that's pretty fucking dumb. The cops are like, "Oh, you got, holy shit."
Like, oh, like,
You know?
we're gonna get you for shoplifting. What is this?
When did Walmart start selling bricks of heroin? Oh man, that's a thing. Some people, you know, you watch those shows like you say, Trailer Park Boys, and you're like this is, you can't write, like no one, but fuck, some people are that dumb, you know, like some of the stuff you see in it, it's just crazy.
There was another kid in my high school who was selling. He was Asian, so he would go to the Chinese restaurant like across the street from our or nearby our school. He would get like lo mein and stuff like that, and he would tell people that his mom made it. He's like, "Oh, my mom made this lo mein," and he would charge people for it and make money off of it. People would give him money. So he would just charge a little extra. I was like, that is a pure hustler right there.
Yeah, living that hustle life, man.
But it's the authenticity, you know what I mean? The kids were like, "Oh yeah, like this has to be authentic Chinese food."
All right. If anyone, just a shout out to Chris. Chris Evans is in the chat. How's it going, Chris? Randy as well. How's it going, Randy?
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah. So anyone who's just tuning in or got here late, we're talking to Steve Urena. He's got a Kickstarter going right now called Foul Mouth, which is running at the moment as we speak. He's 50% funded at the moment. We got about another 25 days left. So go back that book, help him out, give his campaign a little boost. If you're not familiar, he has some previously Kickstarter campaigns for Slowpokes 1 and 2, which is a fun book, a great book about zombie date night as well, which is another great book that takes place in a mall, like with zombies, and kind of more of a humoristic take on what's
dating
the night
and romance and
and what's the one that takes place in the
Dawn of the
mall?
Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, yeah, exactly. So it's like kind of got those vibes a little bit, but
so another reason why I did Zombie Date Night in a mall was because since it was my second one, and because I love Kevin Smith so much, I was like, Mallrats. This would be my Mallrats. So that's why I put it in. And also Dawn of the Dead as well. Just putting those two, I was like, those things just work so well together.
Yeah.
So how close is your hometown to Leonardo? Like, is he kind of a hometown boy ish?
I am a Jersey kid. It is. I was northern. Where they live is more south, so it's more like maybe an hour and a half from me. It's funny. I went to last year actually when they did Clerks 3. I went to the first premiere of Clerks 3 and in the Red Bank area, which was really fun. And Ming Chen also has a copy of Slowpokes, so it's pretty from Comic Book Men. So I love New Jersey, love Kevin Smith, so I always try to put that stuff, put my references in the comics
in there. Yeah.
What do you think of Clerks 3? I haven't ever heard anybody talk about it, but I personally enjoyed it.
I loved it. I thought I love all those movies. I think all those movies are just, they just hit you differently. and especially since they have like the 10-year kind of span, where like the first one happened, in the 90s, second one happened in the 2000s. So like I was introduced for Clerks 2 because I didn't know anything about Kevin Smith stuff. Just I saw Dogma, I think, but I didn't know like all the things like connect. And that movie is very important to me because that was when I was going to college, and it was about change, and it was about like friendships and about who you are as a person, and that like just hit me so hard. And I know a lot of people like the first one more than the second one, but the second one always has a very direct hit to me. So when the third one came out, I was like, you know what? This took a long time to make. Hopefully it's good. I'll just go because I want to see how the story ends. And that hit me even harder because again, it's about change and it's about growing up. And now I'm 34, so I'm right in that range of like, man, like things are changing, and you got to kind of go with it.
Yeah, it hit me really close to home because I watched it almost right out of the hospital. So like I had suffered like a life-threatening illness, and like watching that movie, I was just kind of like right there with it. You know what I mean? Like it was almost like Kevin Smith made that movie for me. It felt like.
Yeah, like we're talking off air. As you get older, like mortality starts to sink in a little more. When you're a kid, you never think of that. You think you live life to the fullest. You're just going out there and just doing crazy shit. Yeah. And as you get older, little things come up where you're like, man, we're not going to live forever. We all have an expiry date. So, like you think back and like, did I waste my life? Did I, these are all questions you ask yourself. And it's like, got to stop asking yourselves those questions and just make the best of what. Exactly. Moving forward, make the most of it as you go because you can't change the past. So make the best of it from now on, moving forward. And
a quote I always like is like, "You're dead longer than you're alive, so you might as well do exactly what you want to do."
Yeah, it's true, man. Like, yeah.
Not to be
population. Yeah, because what was it? Someone was saying, what's the population of the number of deaths on the globe compared to the number of people living, I think is outnumbered by, I don't know what this ratio is, but someone was talking about that one time and I can't remember. It was like, when you stop to think about it, you're like, fuck yeah, man. Like, just not that you're insignificant as a person, but man, like throughout history, like each person, for one person to make their mark, to be remembered forever, you have to do something pretty fucking crazy,
Yes.
Like, yeah. So, I mean, if you're not remembered for the rest of your life, you're not a failure. I mean,
no,
you're with the majority, man. You're right. You're normal.
Yeah.
But
also you pass down to people. So like stories you tell people and like your interactions with people, that like keeps getting passed on forever. Mm-hmm. So I do think everybody lives forever in their own way. Mm-hmm. Maybe not so much in like a, say, a famous musician or something like that. That's a different thing. But I think you live on through your stories and through your, how you interact with people, and it just keeps getting passed down.
Yeah. That's it. Like, through your family and friends, right? Like, and that's why I find sometimes you got to appreciate that.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, well, I mean, you're just missing out, right? Because it's like the old cliche, when you're on your deathbed, are you going to be surrounded by friends and family, or are you going to die alone because you were looking for something that just wasn't as, true or valuable, or, like, surround yourself with good people and you'll live a happy life till your last day.
So speaking of death, and I think this would be a good segue question because it's out of nowhere, it just popped into my head. If you guys were writing Final Destination, how would you write a death scene? What would you do?
Oh
man,
I don't know, man. You go, there's so many viral videos now of people doing stupid shit that are probably dying. It's probably already been done.
I always wanted to do, if I was writing Final Destination, I always wanted to see a hibachi death, like somebody dying at hibachi, like they fall over and just get sizzled on the table.
I would like to see a crane wreck, man, because I do construction work and we have like these massive like cranes that go up like 300 feet, and like I just like have the boom break and like all the pipes fall out and fall and impale people and shit. Like I would, because my favorite Final Destination death is the beginning of part 2 with the logs bouncing down the freeway,
down the highway. Yeah,
that stays with you forever. Like you're on the highway, you're like, I gotta get out of this.
I'd like to try to one up that, and I think with the crane like breaking and like just falling and plummeting on fools, like that would probably do it pretty good.
Yeah.
Prostitution and cocaine, that's pretty good. I mean, that's a good way to go out. There was a story I always remember where this guy had like a pornography collection and it fell on him and he died that way. And my friend said it was like a corrupt wish where it's like, oh, I wish to be surrounded by beautiful women, and like the whole thing fell on him. So it's just like it's such a weird way to go out.
And be careful how you stack your porn, people.
Yeah, it was like in Japan.
I mean,
yeah,
like I mean, that must be so rare now too. Like,
well, the fact
who
that
actually
by it, yeah, that's
how many people actually have porn collections now? I mean, that's I'm sure that
friend Ryan does. Like he used to, like I'd go to his house, and his floor would just be full of them, like open, and like that guy just like breathed it. So I'm pretty sure like that would be hard to give up, or at least I hope he still has all the old ones that he used to have.
How many magazines are still in print? Are there any, or are they all digital now?
I have no idea. Maybe
like does Playboy still print?
Playboy, I think, went away from.
Yeah, Playboy doesn't do nudity anymore.
Yeah,
it's more like
Maxim or like those type of magazines. But like even magazines, like I feel like print is such a weird thing now.
Yeah,
they have it, but it's not as much. Like I still miss Wizard magazine. Like I loved Wizard magazine when I was a kid. I wanted to write for Wizard magazine, and I grew up, and I was like, and like it got me away from the mainstream. I feel like that was the original with comics, like finding new comics that weren't just Marvel and DC, like Spider-Man, superhero stuff. I mean, that's where I found Preacher, Stray Bullets, which I love. Stray Bullets is an excellent comic. Stuff like that. So I feel like there's a void for that. I feel like that needs to come back, or there's got to be something like that somewhere. Let's see. Dude reaches into his fridge to get a soda in his head near the light bulb. A thunderstorm knocks the light bulb and electrocutes the dude while he's holding a soda. Instant death. That's pretty good.
Like
this is why we're changing the name of the show to "How Did We Get Here?" By the way.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
well, I'm the perfect person for that because my train of consciousness is very, very odd.
Yeah. We always go off on these tangents sometimes that can get pretty wild at times. So
I will say this: if somebody got electrocuted with a soda in the hand, then the soda in the hand has to be a Jolt Cola, right?
Or maybe a Surge. Like
the Surge is great. That's awesome. Yeah, Surge works. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but the Wizard thing, man. I totally agree with you. Being a country boy, where we didn't really have comic shops in this, or I rarely got to go to the city to get to a proper comic shop. Like I bought most of my comics growing up from like the 7-Eleven, like off the spinner rack, or the magazine, like with the magazines, with the barcode.
Got what you got.
Yeah, you're at the mercy of the store, whatever they pick up, like. So Wizard was like your gateway to at least see parts of these books that maybe you'd never be able to buy, like.
Yeah, and just the article, they would have that one where they cast the movie based around like celebrities. I thought that was always cool. The price guide, and like, cause I was an idiot, I was like, oh man, I got this #1 issue. It's worth $20. Like I'm gonna be rich today. And then just like the interviews, like I just feel like it had so much attitude, and it just went away, which sucks. I know that I'm sure there's controversy or something, but
who did at the time? It was Bart Sears who did the Brutes and Babes. They had their little drawing section where you learn to draw in it.
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
Greg Capullo took over. I don't know if there's any other ones. I know Bart Sears did it for a while, Brutes and Babes, then Greg Capullo took over from him. I'm not sure if it was from him or if there was someone in between, but I know those two guys did a little drawing section where they just give you tips on how to draw and stuff like that. That was always cool too, growing up as a kid.
I just felt like you got so much. You got so much knowledge of comics, like new stuff coming out, like you said, how to draw, how to be in the industry, and just you got a lot more like grittier stories. It wasn't just it was just awesome. Like I miss that and I know there's another side of the coin, Disney Adventure. That had so much. It was packed. They packed so much stuff into it. And I just miss that.
I don't think it could exist in today's climate though, Because back then you only had maybe one superhero movie come out every 2 years or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
So
and it was a big
you
deal.
get Batman, it was a big deal, right? Now
Yes.
there's so many that it would be like the cons, right?
Yeah.
It would be a comic book magazine where there'd barely be any comic books. It'd be about MCU, DCU, then maybe like 10% of it would actually be about some fucking comics, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the way it would go, right? Because money's king, right? What
Yeah.
sells, and it just become a superhero movie book eventually, magazine, right? So
That's the thing. Like, I mean, what do you feel is do you like the state of comics today? What would you do to change it? I feel like it's getting smaller, which is not good. I feel like the movies that's a whole other thing, but I don't think the people that watch the movies always read the comics or anything like that.
Yes,
I think
it was Spanky. Yes,
yeah.
it was.
Yes, David Lapham did Stray Bullets, which is incredible. I love that. But yeah, I think comics, like, there's a lot of great talent out there, but I feel like their voices are not getting as amplified as they should, because that's where a lot of entertainment comes from.
Well, cons now. Look, it's all about the celebrities.
Yes.
Right? They do have panels for like the big two for big announcements, but like even like I live in Montreal and you go there and
well, it's more about TV shows than it is even comic books.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, even when I like some of them shows, I was kind of like bummed out that like the Supernatural booth was like bigger than anything any of the comic studios had, and I was happy to see the Supernatural. That still bummed me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
I didn't think they actually belonged to Comic Con. I mean, like, it is comic book adjacent, and I guess they have had comics for Supernatural, but like I didn't understand why that show and like Buffy was there because. But I call it MediaCon personally more than Comic Con. Some of the smaller ones are still pretty rad though. I'd love to go to England to Thought Bubble, like the way.
Yeah, that seems like a cool one. Yeah, there's lots of like smaller things, which is pretty cool, like you were saying. But yeah, and I think in Connecticut, I saw on Kickstarter that somebody's trying to do an indie creator con. I might try to get on that. I've never done a con. I'm hoping next year to like start doing them, because I think I have enough in my bank of stuff.
You'll have what, 5 books now?
Yes, 5 books. So hopefully, people will want to check them out. But it's I just feel like it's a weird space. It's a weird time, especially with social media being these like echo chambers now of like, hey, I Twitter used to be a great place to find new people to read my stuff. Now it just feels like I'm just like yelling at the wall. Like it's very hard to break through.
I think at a con you'll do really good, man. Just put up a standee or like in
my head, yes.
And I mean, that's what got me into your Kickstarter. I saw the murderous sloth, and I was like, sold. Like, this guy's. And then you did the printable masks after I backed it, and I was just like, that was like what really like just cemented you were a cool ass dude in my book.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. You guys are awesome too.
We're not going there, Johnny. Sorry, not at all.
Never watched it, don't know it, so couldn't make a comment on that. Yeah, like I think the indie scene, like for the cons, like you're saying, smaller cons are starting to gain traction. Yes. I've seen a lot of people now, they're like, they don't even want to go to the big cons because the table costs so much.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't even going there for the comics. So they're like sick of it, right? Because it's not even a comic convention anymore. And a lot of them are focusing more on these smaller ones that are just like we have TCAF in Toronto, which is just for comics. There's no celebrities. It's just comic creators. We have the same thing in Montreal, the MCAT, Montreal Festival de BD. Nice. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just comic book creators. So those are really cool. I've been to the Montreal one for 2 years in a row since it's been back from COVID. They do it outside. They close off one of the main streets in Montreal, a popular street.
Oh, wow.
And they're just out on the street. So you have cafes, you have street shows and everything going on at the same time. It's outside, which is really cool. And they've been super lucky because it's been beautiful weather the last 2 years. Oh. So it's a really nice experience. You're outside walking up and down the strip. and it's a really cool, fun experience. Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, Canada. I've been to Calgary, and just Canada is super nice. And I hope one day I get to go there with the comic stuff and everything. I would love to check out. I mean, that's the best thing about the comics is that they've been traveling places that I've never been. Like I saw somebody in Singapore got one, someone in Australia got one. It's just it's nuts. But I love that that they're at least people still appreciate comics and people are still trying to, hey, let's get away from this big uproar of MediaCon, as you were saying. Let's talk about the comics. Let's talk about the indie creators. Let's talk about people who are just making stuff. That's always appreciated.
Well, because when Comic-Con went out of control, it was weird because that's when the comic industry really bloomed and we really started getting the imprints like Scout and Source Point and all the companies that are Vault that are just putting out these massive books that people are going gaga over. And from what I understand, they did it without really any con or the big con representation, which is really impressive in my opinion, because in the early days when the first comic book bubble happened and you had the Image takeoff, it was all about them taking over the cons and being as the big voice, and I think that's what really helped them get out there. And it's kind of cool that the newer imprints didn't really need that, I guess, because online was there for them for that, and that's pretty cool, which sadly, like you were saying, isn't there for them now. Or maybe it will be. We got a couple of new sites that popped up. Maybe they will fill the gap of the site that used to actually be pretty useful. But
yeah, I mean, it's just a weird space right now. But I feel like there's always ebbs and flows. There's things where it's this is great, this is terrible, this is fine. But just especially with people running Kickstarters, it's definitely harder on Twitter and just all these different apps. It's I don't know which one is gonna work. I know there was people were on Hive for 2 seconds, and then they have that Threads thing, and all these things have weird names too. It's I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Have you been on Power Drill? It's I don't know what the fuck that is.
I thought that was a gay pickup site. I don't know.
That could be that too. I don't know.
Power Drill kind of sounds like
whatever works for everybody.
For gay carpenters, to meet up. And...
Listen, there's something for everybody. I know that in up here there's farmersonly.com, which is a dating site for farmers because they can't, because of their schedule.
Oh,
it's hard for them to meet people because you're getting up in the morning and stuff like that. But the tagline is great because it's you don't have to be lonely with farmersonly.com. I was that's brilliant. God damn, that's so good. And also to be on it, you have to prove that you have farmland, which is I'm all right, they're going the extra mile here.
There's an app or a site for anything these days. Hey?
I know it's great. I think there was a comic one I saw too, and I was I don't know who's on that, but good on you.
Yeah. See, Blue Sky, man, they're trying to make a push, but
it's not bad. I do like Blue Sky. It seems like things are more amplified on there, but I just worry that all these things just look like Twitter. So how long is that going to last before somebody gets sued or hey, you can't do this anymore? But it always changes. There's always something TikTok. I'm trying that, but it's tough to, you can't put a link unless you have a certain amount of followers.
Okay.
I know people want to just click. They don't want to go to, they don't want to type.
Yeah. Or go into your bio and then click in the bio. Or
just straight one click. Yeah. I get that. So it's figuring out where the audience is for this. But luckily I get to do these shows. You get to meet different people. You got a good amount of people. I saw that I had a backer. Thank you very much for that. You guys are doing great. And I'm psyched to see where your podcast is going to go.
Thanks. Blue Sky. I've been noticing lately, John and I were saying in the beginning, it's pretty quiet because in the beginning right now it's still not open to the public. You can only come through invites.
Yes.
And I think now it's been going on long enough, so there's a lot of codes are getting out, so you're getting more traffic now. And I've noticed, I went back on, I don't go, Blue Sky isn't something I check every day religiously yet because there just wasn't much going on. But I've been on a little more this week, leading up to the show to post things and stuff. And I've noticed now there's a lot more traffic and it's starting to get there. It's slowly getting there. And it was obviously going to be a slow process the way they approached it. Right. So, but I've noticed a difference because in the beginning, Johnny and I were man, it's like when you go to a party, you know, and everyone's just super quiet and nothing's really
come on,
happening.
like, come on, let's do something. Let's have fun. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like kind of, but now it's starting to pick up a little bit. So hopefully that might take off, and because there have been quite a few people that have left Twitter. Like there's a few people that I used to follow and repost, and I they're still on Instagram, and I went on Twitter to share that same post I made on Instagram just recently, and I was like, oh shit, they're not on Twitter anymore. So
yeah, you don't want to lose people too, because like, you know, you forge connections, people are supportive, and you want to support their stuff too. So it's just tough. Like you know, that's why I always try to do every now and then on Twitter, like, hey, if you have a Kickstarter campaign, put your links here. Like, you know, let people know where, you know, I don't know who's reading my stuff, but at least you could there's a place to amplify people's you know, Kickstarters and campaigns.
Spanky was in the house from the N Pod. Night, Spanky. He's from England, so it's pretty late for him.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I saw something new on Twitter, and it's a hashtag Kickstarter reads.
Okay.
What's that? I've been seeing people posting that a lot. I don't know what that is. I
think that's just an account, like, and they'll amplify. I think it's from Kickstarter, and they said if you use it and like it's stuff on Kickstarter, they'll like repost it or they'll retweet it.
Post it. So if you put that hashtag in there, they'll just
they'll because it's good for them because it's their platform and things like that. But I also know people left Kickstarter too because of the blockchain stuff and like AI. Like I know people going there, and there's like that Zoop thing, and then there's Backer Kit. I know I saw that. So it's just trying to figure out what these things are, where the right people are.
Zoop seems to be pretty good, I guess, for some people we know to talk to. I backed a book on Crowdfunder, and that went really
Cankor?
Yeah, that went really well for Matthew Allison, but like he's already a pretty big name, so
yeah. But who else was a big name that went on Zoop? We had Nick Patera, who did Axe Wielder John. He did his through Zoop, and he did really well. One thing I noticed about Zoop is until you reach fulfillment, they give you the liberty to reopen your campaign.
Oh, nice.
Because Nick did his campaign almost a year ago.
Uh-huh.
And then he was getting ready to send stuff to the printers, so he reopened another 2-week window where people could back the book to get more backers.
Oh, that's
before
great.
He sent it to printers. Yeah, so he had like he did his campaign, and like 8 months later, he reopened the campaign so people could jump on again. So he was still working on the book, he was publicizing it.
Yeah,
and then he reopened it just before he sent it to the printers to get that extra little boost, which was kind of cool. When I saw that, I was like,
that's a good idea. That's great.
Yeah. So that's what I heard. Zoop are very flexible, and they'll work with creators like to try to find a
happy medium or happy place.
Yeah, for them, like their guidelines aren't written in stone. Like they'll allow some flexibility, this and that. Like,
awesome. Well, it's good. It's good to see that there's more choices in case you need to try something new or go somewhere different.
Yeah, it's been out for a while now. Zoop as well. But they've been at it for a couple years now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I remember hearing about it, I think last year. Yeah, I just wasn't sure about it, and then I see more things on there, so I definitely continue to grow, which is great.
Yeah, it's good. Like you say, it's just an extra option for people to.
Either that, or I could just go door to door, just cursing at people. You know what I mean? Buy this fucking book.
Buy this fucking book, or else I'll fucking smash your face in with this brick.
Yes, with this brick of heroin that we got at Walmart.
Yeah, you'll die without pain.
Yes.
So we're talking to Steve Urena. He's got his Kickstarter running now, Foulmouth. So people, go back this book. His books are always a blast to read. They're always fun, always a good sense of humor. So if you're into just reading a fun book that's just, got some great pages, some great lines, some great sequences, like funny slaps. Sometimes it's even like, maybe not slapstick, but some pretty comical situations. I'm sure this one will have it as well, because Slowpokes did, Zombie Date Night did, Ex China did as well. So I mean, you've definitely got the flair for the funny stuff. So
Well,
man,
thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully, people think I'm funny. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
yeah. Well, I mean, you know that's you started off with Slowpokes, which was definitely a book in itself. You know, like fast killing sloths. So I mean, right there, I think going forward, you had to expect some kind of hijinks and some
I mean, how funny
happiness to it.
how funny would it be if Foul Mouth is not funny at all? Just play it serious. It's like, yeah, it's just like this is my Dark Knight.
What's that really? That depressing ass Donny Cates superhero book about the alcoholic superhero Buzzkill?
Buzzkill, yeah.
Just go like super depressing with it like that.
It's like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? So Steve, what happened to Steve?
Yeah. So yeah, man. People, go back the book. You still got about 25 days left to back this Kickstarter, so a little over 50% of the way. So we still have 25 days to back it at 50%. So come on, people, go. Steve's a great guy.
Thank you.
Fun fellow to talk to. I mean, you couldn't help out a better person.
Thank
bring
you.
this book to life. So.
It is funny though, because like as the days go down, it's like I just want to see how, in terms of Kickstarter, like getting backers, like, oh, you don't get the backer, and then like it's the last day, it's like, please, I need back. Like, please, I'll do anything. I'll do whatever you want.
You want some extra sugar?
You want some extra sugar? Come on. Whatever I got to do for that campaign. You want a T-shirt? Come on.
I have some cozies left.
I got some koozies. Yeah, I'll give you a koozie.
Koozie, yeah, that's it. So, what do you have? Do you have anything planned for stretch goals for this one? What?
I think I'm sticking to what, you know, the shirts that we got, bumper stickers, we got shirts, we got.
Yeah.
I think I'm giving enough away, which I think there's a good range of stuff. The bumper stickers I think would be a cool thing, and just the shirts say cursing is my superpower, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Which
with a logo, yeah.
With the logo you can wear proudly. But yeah, that's where we're going. I think being 50% funded. I mean, maybe if we go past our goal, maybe I'll start including the other books. But I think there's plenty of stuff to get from this campaign.
So you have bumper stickers, you have the T-shirts.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I saw the bumper sticker shot there where you had it
on the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, listen, if cursing is your superpower, that's a good place to put it, right on your car when you're beeping at people on the highway.
So that's been a pretty consistent one too, is the T-shirts. You've had a T-shirt for every campaign so far?
Yes. T-shirts are always a good seller, especially if it aligns with the book. And my advice to people who are doing T-shirts, do a shirt that, anybody could wear, not just like something from the, it has to make sense to what you're doing, but like, just like, hey, that would be a cool shirt to wear regardless of anything. You know what I mean? Like the killer sloths is like, okay, that's cool. The zombies, that's cool. With Santa fighting robots, that's just a cool visual. So, cursing is my superpower, done by artist Jason Thomas. He did a great job for me with this very vibrant shirt. But yeah, if you cursing is your superpower, this shirt will be for you.
Definitely relate to a lot of people relate to that one for sure.
Yes, exactly.
I'll get it for my mom when she plays cards. She could wear.
Yes, the wizard. Yes, the wizard war. Yes.
Yeah, man. So I just love to thank you for coming on. It's been a long time since the last time, so it's a pleasure to have you back on. And
I've gotten taller. I hope you guys noticed, but.
Well, as you get thinner, it makes you look taller.
It makes you look 7 feet. This is my real posture, 7 feet tall.
Yeah. So, man, good luck with the rest of the campaign.
Thank you.
I'm like, I don't want to jinx it, but man, you have a good track record. I'm sure the people will come through for you. You'll get this book backed before you get to your final day.
Open. Fingers fucking crossed.
Yeah. Johnny, man, you have any last parting words or anything?
Just that I really hopeful that like you get it back, and I'm pretty sure like it will soon, because I don't understand why it hasn't yet. I mean, like everybody should know like that, because you're good stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Thank you.
Fun book, and get on it, folks. I mean, it just seems like a book that everybody needs to check out. It looks like a good time, and everybody kind of needs one of those nowadays, in my opinion.
Yeah, comics are supposed to be fun. Like I saw, people on social media are very negative about comics. Like, oh, it's not worth, doing press isn't worth it and things like that. It's like, no, this is where I have my most fun. This is where I get to talk to people. This is where I get to expand my audience. And even if it's 1 or 2 people or 10 people or 100 people, whatever. This is the best. Like, I love doing this. I love coming on your show. You guys have good guests. You guys have good stuff going on. So, people, you keep saying back me. People should back you. You guys are doing great.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So, let's plug our stuff.
Yes.
Like and subscribe, people. We never say it. I don't know why we never do.
Like and subscribe. Pink Buzz. How did we get here? The new rebrand coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be a great time.
Yeah. Subscribe. We're at We're at a little less than 50 away from 1,000 subscribers. So
we're almost to 960, I think, somewhere around.
Yeah. So getting there, slowly inching closer to the 1,000 subscribers mark. So, but we never tell people to remind them, like, hey, go subscribe or hit that subscription button. So I'll say it this time because I just thought of it thanks to Steve. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Like they say, I don't know if it does go a long way or help, but that's what the other people always say on their shows. So,
or tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah, hell, don't even watch the show. Just subscribe. Just tell your friends, tell everyone.
Just for the numbers.
just all the comments. Just go and hit that subscription button. Who cares?
And when you ask for Pink Buzz, ask for that extra sugar.
Yeah. Joe will give it to you. He is sweet like that.
I try to be. All right, everyone, man. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.